The sun was shining brightly on a quiet street in a small suburban neighborhood. The trees were tall, and the houses looked neat and clean. Birds were singing softly. Everything looked peaceful, but that peace was about to be broken. A black car slowly drove down the street. Behind the wheel was Dana Wells, a calm and confident woman. Today was a big day for her. She was moving into her new home, a fresh start after many years of hard work. Dana had worked as a special agent for the government, but now she wanted a quiet life. She pulled her car into a parking spot near a small white house with a red door. She smiled to herself, feeling hopeful. She grabbed a box from the back seat and walked toward the front door. As she took the box, she noticed a man standing across the street watching her. The man was tall, in his late 50s. His face looked stern and his arms were crossed tightly. He wore a neat uniform with a badge on his chest. He was the HOA officer for the neighborhood, named Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark walked quickly toward Dana, his eyes sharp and full of suspicion. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said in a cold voice. "Are you sure you belong here?" Dana looked up, her smile fading a little. "Yes, sir. I just bought the house at the end of the street," she replied politely. Mr. Clark's eyes narrowed. "This neighborhood has rules, ma'am. You can't just park anywhere you want, and we don't allow strangers to walk around without permission." Dana felt a chill in the air. She had dealt with many difficult people before, but this man's tone was different. It wasn't just about rules, it was about control. "I'm moving in today," Dana said calmly. "I've already spoken with the real estate agent." Mr. Clark stepped closer. "That doesn't mean you're welcome here. We keep this neighborhood safe and we don't want trouble." Dana's heart beat faster, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm not here to cause trouble." Suddenly, Mr. Clark's tone changed. He raised his voice and said, "If you don't leave now, I will call the police." Dana stopped for a moment. She looked around the street. Some neighbors were watching quietly from their windows, curious but afraid to get involved. Without panic, Dana reached into her purse slowly. Mr. Clark's eyes followed every move. Then she pulled out a small, shiny badge. Mr. Clark froze. His face turned pale. "What is that?" he asked, his voice shaking. "This is my badge," Dana said, clearly. "I'm a federal agent." There was silence. The neighbors gasped quietly behind their curtains. Mr. Clark looked down at her badge, then back at Dana. For a moment, he seemed unsure what to do. Then he tried to laugh. "Well, even if you are, this neighborhood has its own rules." Dana smiled, but there was steel in her eyes. "I understand rules, Mr. Clark, but I'm here to live peacefully. If you have a problem with that, maybe we should talk like neighbors." Mr. Clark looked away. His anger was gone, replaced by confusion. Just then, a woman peered from behind a curtain in a nearby house. She was old, with kind eyes. She looked at Dana with a strange look, like she knew something important. Dana noticed her too, but didn't say anything. She carried the box into her new home and closed the door behind her. Inside, Dana took a deep breath. She wanted to believe that the man was just doing his job, but something did not feel right. She walked to the window and looked outside. Mr. Clark was still there, watching her house from across the street. Dana's phone buzzed. It was a message from an old friend. "Be careful. Some neighborhoods are not as friendly as they seem." Dana smiled faintly and replied, "I know. I'll be ready." As she turned away from the window, her eyes caught a photo on the wall. It was a picture of her wearing a uniform, standing next to a famous general. She touched it gently, remembering the hard times she had faced before. Suddenly, there was a soft knock at the door. Dana opened it and found a small package on the step. It was unmarked. She brought it inside and opened it carefully. Inside was a note that said, "Welcome to the neighborhood. Not everyone wants you here." Dana's heart tightened. This was no ordinary welcome. She looked out the window again and saw Mr. Clark walking away, but his eyes kept turning back toward her house. She whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." The camera would hold on Dana's serious face for a moment, then fade to black. The next morning, the sun was warm and soft over the quiet street. Dana Wells woke early. The strange note from last night still sat on her kitchen table. She stared at it. Someone in the neighborhood did not want her here. She tried to push the thought away and focused on unpacking her boxes, but her mind kept returning to the man she had met yesterday, Mr. Clark, the HOA officer. His eyes had been full of suspicion, almost like he did not believe her. But she had a badge that meant she was not just any woman moving into a house. Later that morning, Dana stepped outside to check her mailbox. As she walked down the sidewalk, she saw Mr. Clark again. He was near the corner, arms crossed, watching the street, like a guard. His face was tight with anger. Dana stopped a few feet from him. "Good morning, Mr. Clark," she said, her voice calm but firm. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "I don't think you understand. This neighborhood has rules. You can't just do whatever you want." Dana's eyes didn't move from his face. "I do understand. I also understand that you don't get to decide who belongs here." Mr. Clark stepped closer, his voice dropping low. "You don't know the people here. Some don't like strangers. Some don't like people like you." Dana felt her breath catch for a moment. She had heard words like this before, but she stayed calm. Slowly, she reached into her purse again. This time, she pulled out her badge and held it high in the sunlight. The metal gleamed. "See this?" she said clearly. "I'm a federal agent. I protect people and enforce the law, and I will not be threatened." Mr. Clark's face changed. His mouth opened to speak, but no words came. He looked at the badge, as if it burned his eyes. Then finally he took a step back. "You don't belong here," he muttered, but his voice was weaker now. Dana didn't answer. She folded her arms and looked at him steadily. "I belong wherever I choose. This is my home." At that moment, a few neighbors stepped out of their houses. Some whispered quietly, others just stared. It was clear that many were watching the interaction with surprise. A middle-aged woman came forward. "We didn't know you were an agent," she said softly. Dana nodded. "I want to be a good neighbor, but I won't be pushed out." Mr. Clark sighed deeply. "I'm just doing my job," he said. "But maybe you're not what I thought." Before Dana could reply, a young boy ran past her, holding his mother's hand. The mother looked at Dana and smiled kindly. Dana smiled back, feeling a little hope. Maybe this neighborhood could be different. As Dana walked back to her house, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from her old friend, Major Griffin. "Watch your back. They don't like you here, but you're not alone." Dana read the message and felt stronger. She was ready for whatever came next. She walked into her living room and placed her badge carefully on the table. It was more than a piece of metal. It was a promise to herself, a promise to stand strong. Outside, Mr. Clark watched from across the street, his face shadowed. He made a call on his phone. His voice was low and serious. "She has a badge, but that won't stop us." Dana did not know who "us" was yet, but she was sure she would find out soon. The camera would hold on Dana's face, calm but ready. The quiet street hid many secrets, and Dana was about to uncover them all. That night, the neighborhood was quiet again. The streetlights flickered softly, and the wind moved the leaves gently. But inside Dana's new home, her heart was pounding. She sat at the kitchen table, thinking about Mr. Clark and the strange message she had received. Someone was watching her. Someone did not want her here. Suddenly, a soft noise came from outside. Dana's eyes snapped to the window. She saw a shadow moving quickly past the bushes across the street. Her hand reached for her phone, but before she could call anyone, there was a loud knock at the door. Dana stood slowly and opened the door a crack. No one was there. Just a small envelope on the doorstep. She picked it up carefully and closed the door. The envelope had no name, no address, just a small note inside. It said, "Leave now, or there will be trouble." Dana's hands trembled, slightly. This was not just about rules or neighbors anymore. This was a threat. She thought about her life before. She was trained for danger, for threats. But this was different. This was personal. Her phone buzzed again. It was Major Griffin, her old friend and mentor. "Dana, you're in deeper than you think. Watch your back. They don't want you here." Dana looked out the window toward the street. She could see Mr. Clark's house. The lights inside were off, but she felt eyes on her. She wasn't going to back down. The next morning, Dana went out to meet some neighbors. She wanted to show she was not afraid. Most smiled politely, but some looked away quickly. As she walked back to her house, a car slowed beside her. The window rolled down, and a young man leaned out. "Hey, I'm Jake," he said quietly. "I live a few houses down. I just wanted to say, if you need help, let me know." Dana smiled, feeling a little less alone. "Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it." But Jake's face grew serious. "Be careful. People here don't like change, and some will try to scare you away." Dana nodded. "I'm ready." That night, she found a small camera hidden near her front door. Someone was watching her every move. But Dana was no stranger to danger. She took out her badge again, touched it softly, and whispered, "They don't know." Days passed, but the feeling of being watched did not go away. Dana woke up every morning with a knot in her stomach. The peaceful neighborhood felt like a trap. She checked her phone again. More messages from Major Griffin warned her to stay alert. "They're not just watching," he said. "They're planning something." Dana decided to take control. She put up small security cameras around her house. She also changed the locks and made sure all the windows were locked tight. One afternoon, as she unpacked boxes in her living room, there was a loud knock at the door. Dana looked through the peephole. It was Mr. Clark. Her heart beat fast. Was this a threat or a chance to talk? She opened the door carefully. "Ma'am," Mr. Clark said, his voice low but serious. "I'm here to talk." Dana didn't move. "Go ahead." Mr. Clark sighed and looked down. "I was wrong about you. You don't scare easily." Dana crossed her arms. "I told you. I belong here." He nodded slowly. "There's more going on than you know. Some people don't want you here. They think you'll change everything." Dana's eyes narrowed. "Who? What do they want?" Mr. Clark shook his head. "I don't know, but they have eyes everywhere. You need to be careful." Before Dana could say anything, a car drove slowly past the house. The windows were dark, but Dana felt cold. "Watch your back, ma'am," Mr. Clark said quietly. Then he turned and walked away. Dana closed the door and locked it again. She looked around her home, once a place of peace, now full of shadows. She touched her badge and whispered, "I won't let fear win." That night, the cameras caught something. A figure moved near her backyard fence, trying to stay hidden. Dana's heart raced. The fight for her home was only beginning. The night was dark and still. Dana sat in her living room, her eyes watching the security cameras on her phone. The images flickered as the quiet neighborhood slept, or so it seemed. Suddenly, one camera showed movement near the back fence. Dana's heart jumped. Someone was outside. She grabbed her phone and called Major Griffin. "They're here," she whispered. "Stay calm," he replied. "Lock all doors and stay inside." Dana moved quickly. She locked the front and back doors, then turned off the lights to stay hidden. Outside, shadows moved closer. Dana could hear the soft crunch of footsteps on gravel. She took a deep breath and reached for her badge. It was her symbol of strength and protection. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the backyard. The fence was broken. Dana's phone buzzed. It was Jake, the neighbor who had warned her. "I saw someone near your house," he said urgently. "I'm coming over." Minutes felt like hours. Dana stayed quiet, heart pounding. Then, the front door shook. Someone was trying to get in. Dana stood tall, holding her badge like a shield. "Stop right there," she shouted. "I'm a federal." "Agent, you're under arrest." The figure froze. For a moment, silence filled the air. Then footsteps ran away into the night. Dana's hands trembled, but her voice stayed strong. "This is my home, and I'm not leaving." Jake arrived, breathless. "Are you okay?" he asked. Dana nodded. "I'm ready for whatever comes next." Outside, the broken fence swayed in the wind, a warning that the battle was far from over. That's part 5. It raises the stakes, with action and tension while showing Dana's courage. Shall I write part 6 next? One Minnie? You said part 6. ChatGPT said, here's part 6, the unexpected ally. Keeping it simple, emotional, and suspenseful in third-person style. Part 6, the unexpected ally. The morning after the break-in attempt, Dana felt exhausted but determined. She cleaned up the broken fence and checked her security cameras again. Nothing seemed out of place, but she knew the danger was still close. As she worked, the doorbell rang. Dana opened the door slowly. Standing there was Mr. Clark, the HOA officer. His face looked different, softer, less angry. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I was wrong about you." Dana frowned. "Why are you here?" Mr. Clark looked around nervously. "There are people in this neighborhood who want to push you out, but I don't agree with them anymore." Dana's eyes searched his face. Was he really changing? Or was this a trick? "I want to help," he said. "I know some things you don't. If you trust me, I can protect you." Dana hesitated. Trust was hard to give, but she needed help. "Okay," she said slowly. "Tell me what you know." Mr. Clark nodded. "There's a group. They don't want anyone different here. They're organized and dangerous." Dana swallowed hard. This was bigger than she thought. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" she asked. He looked down. "I was scared, but after last night I realized you're stronger than any of us." Dana felt a small spark of hope. Together, they made a plan. Mr. Clark promised to watch for danger and warn her. Dana would stay alert and keep fighting. Just then, Jake, the neighbor, arrived. "I heard you're teaming up," he said with a smile. Dana smiled back. "We need all the allies we can get." The three of them looked out over the neighborhood, a place full of fear, but also hope. Dana touched her badge. It was more than metal. It was a symbol of courage, friendship, and standing strong. The days that followed were tense. Dana, Mr. Clark, and Jake worked together, watching the neighborhood closely. They shared information, stayed alert, and helped each other. One evening, Dana sat on her porch, looking out at the street. The fear she had felt before was still there, but so was her strength. Suddenly, headlights appeared at the end of the B Street. A group of people stepped out of their cars. Their faces were hard, angry. Dana stood up, her badge shining in the porch light. Mr. Clark and Jake joined her, standing side by side. The group walked toward Dana's house, shouting threats. But Dana's voice was steady and strong. "This is my home," she said. "I won't be scared away." Mr. Clark stepped forward. "And neither will we." Jake nodded. "You're not alone." The angry group hesitated. Seeing Dana and her allies united gave them pause. After a moment, the leader of the group growled, "This isn't over." But Dana was ready. "It is. if you're willing to live with respect. The group finally turned away. The street grew quiet again. Dana took a deep breath, relief washing over her. She looked at Mr. Clark and Jake. "Thank you," she said softly. Mr. Clark smiled. "You changed this neighborhood." Jake grinned. "We're stronger together." Dana touched her badge once more. It was more than a symbol of her work. It was a symbol of hope. She knew the fight wasn't finished, but now she had allies, and together they would stand strong.